Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to our draft prediction show. I'm Chris Matthews. We're getting closer to the top of this year's virtual draft. Today, we're going to look at the guys expected to go in the top 10. Joining me is our colleague, Ron Futrell. Boy, I'll tell you what, Ron, this top 10, really impressive.
Oh, now we get down to the nuts and bolts of the draft, okay? This is really going to be amazing here, who we talk about. Round one picks, as projected, by the way, by CBS Sports, so we want to give you that disclaimer right off the bat, is that for the next half hour, we'll be analyzing all these picks. CBS Sports came up with some of the numbers that we'll be using here, but we'll analyze with, we got a couple of buddies here with us, Chris, to be able to talk about this draft and what we plan on doing today.
Yeah, really, when you think of the analyst joining us for this NFL draft is one of the best known names in sports betting and numbers, of course, Kenny White. Been a fixture in Las Vegas for years and years in the media, sports betting industry. Kenny is the CEO of Kenny White Sports, puts together one of the terrific premier college football magazines each and every season. Also, Jack Doyle's. He is the longtime sports director from WOOD TV, primetime football country up there in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Hey, guys, thanks for joining us.
Great to be here again.
All right, let's start off now with the Cleveland Browns. Number 10 pick, first round. Now, if the Browns are looking for another wide receiver to throw to get the ball from Baker Mayfield, maybe CeeDee Lamb could be their guy, Ron.
Yeah, the Browns do need some help on the offensive line to help protect that before-mentioned Baker Mayfield. But Lamb, the 10th rated player overall in this draft, is fun to watch out there. He was a superstar at Oklahoma. Most impressive was his yards after catch. That's the acronym you see there, the YAC acronym there, yards after catch. He was a finalist for the Biletnikoff Award with the Sooners. He could fit in just about anywhere. So, Kenny, what do you think about this guy out of Houston, Texas, where he went to high school, but then decided to go to Oklahoma, play football there, fun-loving guy? What do you think of CeeDee Lamb, Kenny?
Well, Ron, my initial ratings had CD, the best wide receiver in this class, and doing a little bit more work, diving a little bit deeper, I now have CD, the third best receiver in the class. A couple of question marks came up. He's got great hands. We talk about the yak yards, but he came from the Big 12 conference that plays no defense. So that conference, the defenses are always tired because the offenses are high flying, a lot of points being scored up and down the field. So he's supposed to be explosive, but his vertical leap just 34.5 inches. It's below average for a wide receiver his size. He's supposed to be one of the strongest wide receivers, but yet he bench pressed just 11 times reps on the 225. Those two are a little bit question marks for me. If he was going to do it, why didn't he do it all the way? A 4.5 40. He was a first-team All-American. He is a first-round draft choice. I don't know if he goes this high. I don't like him in this slot. I think the Cleveland Browns need an offensive tackle, and if they could get Wills or WIRFS at this point, that's who they should grab, not CeeDee Lamb.
Jack, let me ask you, here's a guy who averaged 21 yards a catch, scored 14 touchdowns in his 13 games there at Oklahoma. What do you think of CeeDee Lamb?
Well, I think Kenny hit it on the button there. That's in a conference that really doesn't play much defense. Maybe TCU plays some, but for the most part, and he got shut down in that TCU game. Yes, very good player, 14 touchdowns. He's productive, but I don't think wide receiver is the biggest need. They addressed that last year when they picked up Odell Beckham and Landry. So I think their needs are definitely on the offensive line. They addressed that a little bit, picking up Jack Conklin, really good tackle from the Tennessee Titans in free agency. But I believe they will go after an offensive lineman here with their first pick. Whoever the best available guy is on the board at that point, whether it be WIRFS, I don't think he'll be there, or Becton, I think for sure the Browns are going to address that offensive line with this pick.
Okay, Jacksonville Jags coming in at number 9. Their needs are mainly in the trenches, offensive and defensive lines again. KINLAW of South Carolina may be available. If he is there, I think the Jags probably grab this defensive lineman here. What do you think, Chris? Yeah,
I'll tell you what, JAVON KINLAW didn't get all the attention maybe the other athletes got coming out of South Carolina, but the NFL coaches, they certainly know who this guy is. 6'5", 324, a big guy, big defensive lineman, as big as you'll ever see here, really. He's quick, fast enough to get to those plays, make the plays anywhere along the defensive line. Now, here's a guy who says he saw football as a way out of his previous life. He was living in a basement at times. So, hey, Jack, his numbers maybe really don't indicate how dominant he was, but what do you think of this guy?
Yeah, he had 6 sacks last year. Just an absolute beast size-wise. He even dropped a lot of weight from his JUCO days. But 324 pounds, disruptive force, explosive first step. A little inconsistent. His technique isn't great, but they can teach that. But the red flag on him is health. He had a hip surgery. Those you just don't bounce back right away with, so it may take a little time there. Also, he had some issues with his I think it was knee issues in previous years. So without the opportunity for teams to spend some time with their doctors and to look at him, I think there may be a little bit of hesitation for teams to take him this early in the draft. But other than that, he's definitely a top 10 kind of a guy. They absolutely need help on the defensive line. They got rid of 2 of their top defensive linemen this offseason, traded away Calais Campbell. They also didn't re-sign Marcel Darius. And then they've got some issues when Ngakoue put the franchise tag on him, and he's not sure he wants to play there. Seems to have a Twitter spat going on, trying to do everything he can to get himself traded. So the defensive line, absolutely the biggest issue for the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I think they'll address it with this pick, especially if Derrick Brown somehow slips down there. But KINLAW is a guy that I think they would absolutely take a chance at.
Okay, Kenny, you're our numbers guy from your virtual sports book that they're in your living room. What do you see the numbers on JAVON KINLAW?
Yeah, I missed out on giving you CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb was 12.5, and they bet him under to 12.5 under 30. Now 12.5 under -163. So the money going on Lamb under. Now JAVON KINLAW was 13.5. He opened. Just a little bit of money, but it's come on the over. So everybody's expecting him to go in the 14th or 15th pick. He's a great story, as Jack mentioned. He went from second-team JUCO to the top 10 in the NFL draft in 3 years. And he did lose 40 pounds from his JUCO days to South Carolina. That's one thing that worries me. Big guys can put on weight very easily. We know this guy's a really big guy. When you get paid, sometimes you start eating a lot better, little finer meals. I'm not sure if that'll help him. That weight may be too much for him, but he does have explosive size, strength, and arm length. I like the 13.5. I think that's right where he goes. The Jaguars, when I look at the team needs, it doesn't say quarterback. I don't know why. Gardner Minshew's their quarterback. They need a quarterback. So if Justin Herbert is there at this point, the Jaguars may take him.
Hey, Ron, did Kenny mention food? Why would he bring up food, Stacy? Hey, let's move along. The Arizona Cardinals, number 8 spot here. They've got to compete in a tough NFC West and really haven't been able to do that. Perhaps some offensive line strength would help here. Now, Jedrick Wills Jr., how about this guy, Ron?
Okay, yeah, they've got Kyler Murray as their quarterback of the future, but that O-line needs some work. And Jedrick Wills certainly would be a great fit for the Cardinals if he can get him at this point. He's a great athlete, plays with a bit of an edge, has that great experience of playing against the best in the Southeast Conference. So all of those things come together to say, wait a second, you're in Arizona right now, you got your quarterback situation. Look at that. That sort of says attitude to me right there. I'm looking at that picture. Love that picture of him right there. But I'm going there. Kenny, what do you think? Jedrick Wills Jr.
Well, all the money is on the under. Open 9.5, over 30, went to 9.5 under, to 8.5 under, and now 8.5 under -$2, meaning there's a 67% chance Wills will go before the 8.5 pick. And the Cardinals would be a great spot for him. He's a little smaller in height-wise for a tackle, normally about 6'5", 6'6". He's only 6'4", but that doesn't really matter. He's got really long arms, he's got great hands, and he's got great feet. This guy is going to be an all-pro offensive tackle. I think this is a great spot for the Cardinals. The betting numbers say he's going to get drafted before the 8.5 slot. Here we are at number 8. Sign me up for the Cardinals and Wills.
All right. You know what? It's interesting. Kenny mentioned hands. Some say that this guy has the hands of a boxer, Jack. Eventually he'll be an all-pro, they say. What do you think of this guy?
Well, one of the numbers that Kenny gave us earlier was CeeDee Lamb with a 34.5-inch vertical. Wills had a 34.5-inch vertical at the combine. He's 312 pounds. That shows me some explosiveness. He also ran that 40 in 5.05, so he's got a burst. I would absolutely take him at this spot. This is a position that the Cardinals need, and again, with a quarterback like Murray, you need an offensive lineman who can move. who can block for the pass and the run. And I think he's a guy that if he's sitting there at that spot, they'll absolutely jump on him. That'd be a great choice at 8.
All right, how about the Carolina Panthers now jumping into number 7? This is the final year of Cam Newton's contract there. So who could they be looking at? Maybe the best quarterback available at this point in the draft. They need a lot of help. How about inside help? The offensive line. Tristan Wirfs would be that guy perhaps, huh? Big guy who can handle playing both sides, right and left, huh, Ron?
Yeah, he was a wrestler in high school, so that experience is going to help him here as a defensive line. When I say wrestler, he wrestled in Iowa. He's from Iowa, well, of course, went to Iowa, but from Mount Vernon, Iowa, he wrestled at 325 pounds. Imagine going into that heavyweight, super heavyweight weight class up against him in high school. He was won the state championship there. So he's got that behind him. You want those guys as wrestlers because that's basically what they're doing in the trenches. Jack, what do you think? Where are you at with WIRFS on this?
Well, I'll tell you what, I had a chance to work in Iowa. I went to Drake, and when I worked in Iowa, one of the biggest events we would cover every year is the high school wrestling state championships. This was, now we're going way back when Dan Gable was still the Iowa wrestling coach, but he's a big deal. And Iowa has a history of putting a lot of very good offensive linemen into the National Football League. WIRFS is a guy who fits that mold. Fantastic offensive lineman, low center of gravity. That wrestling will show you he can work low. But I don't think he's going to be here at this point. And I think the biggest need that the Carolina Panthers have at this point, remember Luke Kuechly just retired, up and retired. And if Isaiah Simmons is there when the Carolina Panthers are on the clock, I think they jump at Isaiah Simmons in a heartbeat.
All right, let me ask you, Kenny, here's a guy who started as a freshman, and if you've seen the video on Twitter, he absolutely leaps out of a pool onto the side of the pool there. Unbelievable talent this guy has. Freaky athletic. What do you think of this guy?
Yeah, you know, the more I read about him, the more I like. I keep pushing him up in my draft. I think he's the first offensive lineman off the board for sure. His draft number 8.5 under went to 8.5 under minus 50. It's 8.5 under 70 right now. That's an easy one. This is a lock. He's going to go in the first 4 or 5 picks, I think. If there wasn't a star quarterback in Joe Burrow and Chase Young, this could be the first player drafted this year. You guys mentioned the wrestling background. He was also a shot put and discus championship in high school. He's strong as can be, 4'8'5". Jack mentioned the 34-inch vertical by Wills. This guy's got a 36.5 vertical, and he squats 2 VW bugs. This guy's the best guy in the entire draft to me. I think he's an all-pro for 10 years in the NFL.
Only 2 VWs, huh? Okay. And that's the old school bugs. Okay, those are a little lighter than normal. Okay. Let's jump into crunch time, I guess we could say, with the draft right now. The LA Chargers in the number 6 spot. Certainly they got to look at a top quarterback here. If they can get one there. Phillip Rivers is gone, leaves a pretty big hole. Okay, Chris, what do you think going at the quarterback spot here for the LA Chargers?
Yeah, you know, if they don't go quarterback and they go with the perhaps a lineman or somebody, maybe that best player available type athlete. Number 6 on that list would be Derrick Brown. Of course, Brown, the big defensive tackle from Auburn. Chargers could use some help on the D-line. He's one of the best out there, 6'5", 326. He can play anywhere along the defensive line, and often he was double teamed in college. So Derrick Brown, Jack, what do you think of this guy right here? Big Auburn kid.
I love this guy. What's the opposite of a red flag? I'd give him a green flag or a red, white, and blue flag. This is a guy that they called him Baby Barack on the Auburn campus. One of those guys that just helps everybody out. He was on the SEC Student Athlete Leadership Council, went on mission trips to help others. First team All-American, an Outland finalist. This guy is the complete package. Disruptive force. What's not to like about him? But I think in this point, the Chargers need a quarterback more than they need anything else. Are you going to go in the future and say Tyrod Taylor's your guy going forward beyond this year? I think Tyrod Taylor is more of a Band-Aid. I wouldn't be surprised if they, a lot of the rumor is that they may try and trade up, maybe as high as 3 with the Detroit Lions to go ahead and make sure that they get the quarterback they want, either Tua or Justin Herbert. I'd be very surprised if they pick Derrick Brown at this spot, but if they got him, they would absolutely love him because I think he's a guy that'll be an All-Pro, a guy that might be in the conversation for the Walter Payton Man of the Year award years down the line. I love Derrick Brown. Wouldn't be surprised if the Detroit Lions surprised us and took him at 3 if they kept that pick.
Okay, Kenny, this is where it gets interesting, this part of the draft here, okay, with trades and that sort of stuff, as Jack mentioned there. Chargers, you got to think they're looking for a quarterback there. Are there going to be the good quarterbacks available at this point with either Tua or Justin Herbert?
Yeah, one of them will be available, obviously. We just don't know which one. I think the Dolphins would go with Tua, and then number 6 would be Herbert. The Chargers have to. They cannot pin their hopes to Tyrod Taylor. He is just a stopgap right now. I don't think they want to play a season with him. But you know what? There's 2 good quarterbacks out there, Jameis Winston and Cam Newton still. So they could go to free agency. That is their number 1 need, offensive tackle, linebacker. But Derrick Brown, boy, I don't know. It's hard to pass up on a guy like this. The Chargers would have the best defensive line in the NFL. They can play conservatively on offense. Tyrod Taylor takes care of the football. He doesn't throw a lot of interceptions. This draft pick could make sense. I love the size, speed, and athleticism. The draft numbers, he was at 8.5. Early money came in on over 8.5, but it's since now gone to 8.5 under 30, and now 7.5 under minus 30. So we know Brown should get drafted with the 6 or 7 slot, so he's right where he's supposed to be.
By the way, Kenny, I'm going to mention here real quick, Denver Broncos, I believe they did win a Super Bowl with your theory of go strong with defense and have manageable quarterback system. And they went all the way, won the Super Bowl about 3 years ago with that idea. So maybe the Chargers look at that. That would be interesting.
The Ravens did that one time too, I think.
Oh yeah, yes, they did. Yes, they had some great. Ray Lewis is a great linebacker and all that great secondary, Ed Reed and guys. Yes, and they win with defense. Can sometimes win Super Bowls. Chris.
All right, well, the Miami Dolphins, 14 picks in this draft, 3 of them in round 1. So here we go with number 5. A lot of people think that Miami goes with a quarterback here. How about the lefty out of Alabama, Tua Tagovailoa? Could go right here. Still questions about his strength and, of course, the health, but no question about his ability.
Yeah, he's a dual threat. He can run the ball, pass the ball. Probably the best deep passer threat in this draft. Tua has his eye on a certain team since his childhood, but not the Dolphins. I like the lefty. Certainly I have a little bias being left-handed. I do sort of like the lefties here, Jack. So where are you going? Great tradition with some left-handed quarterbacks in the NFL that have done the job. But this is a lefty that can run. Steve Young, what do you think? Let's go ahead and talk about how he grew up a Cowboys fan.
I grew up a Cowboys fan. I have 2 dogs that are named Dallas and Star, you know, just to tell you guys how big of a Cowboys fan I was growing up. But I'd be grateful, you know, to be drafted by any team, man.
There you go.
I'll tell you what, this guy is the LeBron James in Hawaii right now. We were talking to some of the sports people in the islands, and they said this guy is unbelievable. Wherever he goes, his name's brought up. He's a LeBron James. Jack, what do you think of Tua?
I love Tua. You remember everybody was tanking for Tua at the start of the year and before the injury, but that's the big question mark. And without the ability to have these physicals, I know the Dolphins took a really good look at him at the Combine, and they seem to be pretty happy with it. At least that's the reports that they let out. You know, I love Tua as far as a leader. He was absolutely the alpha dog of that Alabama team, led them to that championship his freshman year, comes in at halftime and puts on that performance. So he's not afraid of the big stage. 8-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio, so he takes care of the ball. But yeah, the question is durability. Hip injury, haven't seen too many guys come back from that. Had some other issues, so durability an issue, and of course, just 6 foot tall. But are we past that now? We've seen Kyler Murray, we've seen you know, Drew Brees and some other guys that have overcome the height issues that some teams may have, but everybody was tanking for Tua, and if you're going to put your franchise on a guy, I think of all the guys in that draft, he's the guy I would have banked on before the injury. Now it's a bit of a roll of the dice.
All right, let's Kenny. The injury certainly is the big issue with him and how he reacts to that at this point.
Yeah, no doubt it is. However, looking at him, you know, the young guy, obviously, the younger you are, the quicker you heal. And he looks like he's 100% to me, watching all the virtual videos. Looks great. Kid was an MVP of the Elite 11 camp, the best high school quarterbacks in the country. And as Jack mentioned, the 8-to-1 ratio. But when you think about it, more like 76-9 in his 2 years, 24 starts against the NFL minor leagues. Those numbers are amazing. 71% completion. So this guy's a great quarterback. He is the best quarterback in the draft as long as he's healthy. I think he's healthy. I think he's the #1 quarterback. So somebody's going to go after him. The 6 foot, being 6 foot does still scare you. It still scares a lot of NFL GMs. That's the only sticky point, I think. If he was 6'3", we'd be talking about Tua going #1, Joe Burrow going #2.
All right, I'll tell you one thing about, you saw the highlights right there of Tua. That was his first start in high school. He threw 5 touchdowns. He certainly has the gift. Well, let's move now to the New York Giants, have the 4th pick in the draft. They seem to have their quarterback position taken care of with Daniel. Of course, now we got Eli Manning out, so that's going to be an interesting thing. Keep an eye on a cornerback there, huh, Ron?
Yeah, I think so. There's a lot of great defensive backs in this draft. We know that's very deep. And the best of the bunch, Jeff Okudah out of Ohio State, 6'1", 205, perfect size for an NFL cornerback. Confident, strong, just the best cover guy out there in college football right now. He changes games on defense. Okay, how do you think? What do you think of the Buckeye here, Jeff Okudah? Let's go to Kenny and get your thoughts first of all on is he the best cornerback in the draft? I think he is by far.
Yeah, he is. He is the best corner. He's got all the skills and the size, the speed, more than anything, the length and the size, I think, are the big keys there. The interesting thing for Okudah is the betting numbers went up. 4.5 was the draft position for him. It has not moved in 4 weeks. But yet, when you look at the index props, what team will he go to? The Lions are the favorite, -150. The Panthers +$5. The Giants +550. So at every draft I see, he's 3rd. Amazingly, though, with the number being 4.5 and has not moved, I'm shocked there hasn't been money on the under. Maybe we'll see it in the next day or two. Mentioned Okudah, the speed, 4.48. The leap, 41 inches. The bench press, only 11 for a guy who's 6'2", 205. Scares me just a little bit. But boy, the cover skills are amazing. Yeah, best corner in the draft.
You know, Jack, since 1999, Ohio State has sent 10 first-round corners to the NFL draft, far and above any other team. But the Falcons kind of want this guy badly. So what's your thoughts on this guy?
Well, I don't think he'll be there at 4. Almost every mock draft I've seen, I've heard a little more buzz with the Lions going after Derrick Brown now, but almost every draft I've seen and almost everything we've heard from Detroit is Okudah at 3. But I think the Giants' bigger need is more on the offensive line. What's the biggest knock we've heard coming out of New York? The biggest complaint is they've had trouble blocking for Eli Manning, whoever's been under center, Daniel Jones. I think they want to give Daniel Jones a little help there, and I wouldn't be surprised if WIRFS goes with this pick right here. I'd be really surprised if Okudah was there, and even if he was there, if they took him, if they had a chance at the best offensive lineman in the draft.
He also speaks Swahili, if anybody cares. He took 3 years of it at Ohio State, which is sort of important for him to be able to have gone through that, done that. But sharp dude, good dude. It's going to be fun to watch him play on Sunday. Okay, the Lions are going to be picking 3rd. It's just a matter of putting these final 3 guys into the respective slots here. Right now, the Lions could be looking at the guy they call the game destructor, Isaiah Simmons, a linebacker who plays all over the field, does damage wherever they place him, Chris.
Yeah, this guy, really fun to watch this guy. Listed as the linebacker really for the NFL, kind of has all the tools. They dropped him back into strong safety sometimes at the NFL Combine. This guy was unbelievable, has terrific talent, finds the ball, the field. He just has all the skills, and he has the confidence. He said he's the best guy, can play any position on defense. Let's start with you, Kenny. What do you think about Isaiah Simmons? Because a Pro Bowl type talent that has the confidence to match all the athleticism.
Yeah, absolutely love him. The numbers are amazing. The betting numbers. His draft position was 6.5 under -125. Bet to 6, and then 6.5 over 40 today. So a lot of money on the over. They're thinking he's going to go in the 7th or 8th slot. Could happen, but you know, Ron just asked me who the best cornerback is in the draft. It's got to be Jeff Okudah, right? Maybe it's Isaiah Simmons. He's got better size, better speed. He could be the better cover corner. And that's amazing that this guy could play corner, safety, or linebacker and be an all-pro. That's Magic Johnson type of skills. You come in at 6'9", and you can play from point guard to center. I'm sure he could play rush defensive end, and if you had to put him at defensive tackle, he probably could play defensive tackle at 240 pounds because he's so fast. This guy coming from Clemson, talking about A-class people, this is one of them. He's going to be a top draft pick, but the numbers are saying he's going to go at number 7 or number 8. I guess it's because of need.
Yeah, it's who needs the linebacker at this point, or like you said, linebacker or cornerback or wherever you can play. Jack, pretty versatile guy here, Isaiah Simmons.
Yeah, probably the best athlete in the entire draft, and the Lions need help at linebacker, at defensive lineman, at cornerback. So there's 3 guys that have been in the conversation for the Detroit Lions all through this draft process. And what Bob Quinn has said was he wants to trade back if he can. He wants more draft capital, more assets in this draft. And if he can move back to a slot like 5 or 6 or 7 and still get either Simmons or Okudah or Brown, he will make that move in a heartbeat. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Simmons in a Detroit Lion uniform, but I'd be surprised if they took him with the 3rd pick. I think if they are able to make that trade and go back, then they'll make that decision on which of those guys is available. But Detroit could absolutely use some playmakers. They had the worst defense in the National Football League last year, which should be surprising because Matt Patricia, one of the architects of those New England defenses that won Super Bowls, he just hasn't had any success. And linebacker is a position they picked up last year in the 2nd round with Jelani Tavai. So, they need a playmaker. And this would be a playmaker, but so would Okudah and so would Brown at this point. So, again, I think they may end up with him, but I don't think it'll be at 3.
All right, speaking of numbers, how about number 2? The number 2 pick in the draft goes to the Washington Redskins, and the best defensive lineman in the draft is edge rusher Chase Young from Ohio State. Looks like he'll be the pick right here.
Yeah, indeed it should be. There are always surprises in the draft, but probably not here. This Buckeye is a bruiser. 6'4", 265, perfect size. He's an elite pass rusher, and in a league that's gone to passing the ball so often, he's the guy you want to shut down the offense. Fun to watch in Columbus there. He'll be even more fun to watch on Sundays. Kenny, where are you at with this guy? What do you think with the edge rusher number? He might be the number 1 player in the draft overall, but going number 2 most likely to Washington.
Yeah, he's amazing to watch. He is a complete destructor on defense, and you're right, with being a passing league, you got to get that rush defensive end to lessen the time the quarterback has to scan the field. It's so important, and this guy can do it. The size, the strength, everything, the numbers are off the charts. There's only one betting up prop on the board right now for him. Who will be the 2nd overall pick in the draft? It opened -$3. He was the favorite. Went to -$7 and now is at 10-1. You have to lay $10 to win $1. That Young will be the 2nd player drafted. Amazing. Someone laid probably $3,500 to win $500 that he'll be the 2nd pick in the draft. I think he will be. He's the best defensive player.
All right, Jack, here's a guy that was a number 10 guy coming out of high school. Everybody wanted him. He picked Ohio State over Alabama because he says it was more family friendly. Urban Meyer said this guy's going to be the real deal back in the day. He won all the defensive awards that you can basically win. What do you think about this guy?
Well, if I had the number 1 pick in the draft and I didn't need a quarterback, this is the guy I would jump on. And I think he'll be the number 2 pick unless somebody just comes up and blows the Redskins' socks off with a trade to move back a little bit. And then I would, if they were picking a quarterback or an offensive lineman at that point. But I'm almost certain that it's going to be Chase Young at this point. He is a disruptor. 16.5 sacks last year for the Ohio State Buckeyes. Improvement each year. He's shown he can get better and better. Willing to be coached. Yeah, he's a rare talent, maybe a Julius Peppers-like player. And if he can have a career like Julius Peppers, we'll be seeing him in Canton in the not too distant future. I would absolutely jump on Chase Young. If I had the 1st pick, he'd be my guy.
And then there were 1. Okay, number 1 pick in the draft we have here. The Bengals need a quarterback, and what do you know? There just happens to be 1 quarterback left that we haven't talked about. He's a pretty good one. Joe Burrow won the national championship with LSU. We'll see what he can do with the Bengals.